Winners think they are losers, and losers think they are winners. What do I mean by this? What I mean by this is simply the fact that when it comes to losers, let's start with them, they tend to be the ones who bark the loudest, right? Who brag the most, who talk about themselves constantly and their accomplishments, whether they be truth or not. Many times they are not true. They are just a bunch of lies, right? This is why we have a lot of these terms like $30,000 millionaire, right? Guys who are like making $30,000 a year but claim they're millionaires. Whereas when it comes to winners, winners usually have this humility about them where they never feel like they're good enough. They still feel like, even though they'll probably never use this term so strong, that they're losers, right? That they could do more, they could be better, they could do something greater than what they're doing now. Even though they're already successful, they still press on themselves, right? They're not out there talking a big game or, chest pounding or anything like that, because they are so busy just trying to continue winning, right? Whereas when it comes to losers, they have all day. I mean, it's almost like they prefer to not do the work and instead just lie to everyone, mostly themselves, really, right? They just prefer to lie and create this delusion of how great they are when really they're not. I mean, there's no like factual, tangible evidence to suggest that they're winning at life, right? I mean, they're really, if you take a look at their lives and what they have or really what they don't have, you can see that they really are failing, right? But they will never believe that because they've been able to convince themselves that they are winning, they're winners, right? And this is why I say, like, when it comes to winning, like winners really do very little talking because they're just so busy trying to win and constantly keep winning and running up the score. Whereas losers, they do, right? They just have all day to just talk, yap. And I've been on both sides of the fence, by the way. I've been both, right? When I was losing at life, I was doing a whole lot of talking, right? So I'm really talking about myself. But I see a lot of guys do this. I think most guys do this, right? At some point, especially if you're younger, because you don't really have the resources yet or the knowledge or the connections or just the life experience to know how to create and build something that will become bigger than yourself, right? So it really becomes about you kind of creating this movie in your head where you are the hero and you are the star. And you're like, oh, I'm doing this, girl, and I'm doing that. I've got all this. I'm creating my own software network and all this other stuff that you probably aren't. And you start to create this image in your head of being a winner, right? Being successful, even though, again, there's no actual tangible evidence to suggest that yet, right? Yet. And I stress yet, because I used to talk a lot. I used to talk a big game, and I've often taught this in my pickup programs too, that when you're trying to game these girls, especially these younger girls in their 20s, and you're in your 20s like I was back then, and they've got older guys with resources, you really don't have anything to sell them on except your potential. So I was very good at selling these women on my potential, right? That I really did truly believe I was capable of. That I did end up becoming anyway, right? I did end up succeeding, and I did make all these things happen. I mean, even beyond what I used to brag about, right? Even beyond what I used to tell these girls, like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I mean, I've gone beyond all that. So it ended up becoming true. But at the time, I mean, and I did believe it in my heart. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do big things, and these are my plans. I mean, it didn't work out exactly. I didn't take the road exactly as I thought, or as I explained to them I would, but I ended up getting there, right? I made it. And now I'm at a point where, yeah, I'm like financially successful. And now I find myself doing as little talking as possible. And I mean, it's even to the point where I don't even feel comfortable talking about it. And when people ask me about it that I don't know, of course, I talk about it a little bit on my channel, but I mean, you guys really don't know the extent of like, you know, my finances and everything, like, you know, how well I've done. But yeah, even then, like when I meet somebody new, I don't like to talk about that stuff. Whereas before, I mean, I was constantly bragging about how much money I'm going to make, what kind of cars I'm going to buy, what neighborhood I'm going to live in, the type of house I'm going to have, what it's going to look like. You know, my jacuzzi's going to look like a clamshell. I mean, I was like spitting out these crazy dreams in my 20s to these girls because I had nothing else to sell them on, right? But I did believe these things. It wasn't like I was like, oh, I'll just tell her this stuff so I could sleep with her. No, I was telling her these things because I believed I was going to get there. And I wanted the right partner because I was trying to get married back then. I was like, I wanted the right partner to come along with me, right? Obviously the best looking and the coolest. That's what most guys want from women, is like hot and cool. That's all we care about. So I was telling them like what my plans were, and I used to talk, and never shut up about it. Where now that I am winning at life, I don't like talking about it. I just like to, as I always teach in my coaching videos, don't talk, just do, right? Just do the work. Don't tell anybody your plans. Don't tell them what you're up to. Don't, you know, because that's another thing is you'll tell people your ideas and you'll talk about it so much that you'll talk yourself right out of it and you'll never get it done. That's why I always say you just have to keep your mouth shut and put your head down and do the work. And that's all I'm about these days is I just want to do the work. I like working, I like winning, and I don't have time to talk about it, right? And I'm very humble too about the fact that I was able to get to where I am now versus where I came from, right? And I'm not even saying that to like flex or anything, like I'm just trying to make a point. Like I feel very thankful for that. I'm always like, thank you. I feel blessed. I feel like, you know, I'm doing what I love to do, and it's like I can't even believe, like, man, I could retire if I want to. Sometimes I think about it, I was like, that's crazy. I don't want to though. I want to keep working, and I don't like to brag about, oh my gosh, guys, you know what? You know how much I made this month, bruh? You know, this Lambo dealership that I was just at this morning, they gave me this VIP service. I'm not talking about any of that stuff, right? I'm not. I mean, I'm just focusing on the work. And that's what, and I noticed too, like my social circle is like that now too. Like all the friends that I network with that are business owners are the same way. These are just like the most humble dudes. I mean, the most humble dudes you could ever meet. The most thankful dudes you could ever meet, the most quiet dudes you could ever meet. Like they don't really like sit there and brag about like what they have. Like some of these dudes are banking $1 million a month. They don't talk about it, right? They're just like, hey man, are we getting the chips and salsa today? What are we, you know, what restaurant are we going to, man? Are we gonna go, you know, are we gonna go over to Ruby's? You know, it's just, yeah, it's very different from my social circle in my 20s where I was hanging out with a bunch of losers, so we all talked a big game, right? We're all trying to like one up each other. However, this is a common theme with winners and losers, right? And you know, if you're in this stage now where, you know, and I hate to call it that, like, oh, you're a loser, you know, because you might genuinely believe, like I did, that you're going to be a winner, right? But at some point, you have to start transitioning, right? You have to start transitioning where start just talking less and less, right? Take baby steps. The less you talk, the more you'll have energy to take action, right? To try and fail. Because it's really hard to keep talking when you're constantly out there trying and failing. When you see your bank account, your savings account going down and down, and you're starting to freak out and wondering if you're going to be homeless, wondering if you're going to have money to eat or buy a cheeseburger from McDonald's, like I did, you know, and you start to worry. Yeah, all of a sudden, you know, you're not so, you know, you're not so conceited anymore. You start to get over yourself, and you start to realize, like, man, this is work. If I want to make it, I have to take a lot of risk, and I have to bet on myself, and I have to, you know, I could lose, right? And you start to really see what you're made of. And that is really what humbles you, right? You're looking to become financially successful. You'll notice as you start to transition and start to put more of your focus and energy towards actually doing the work, trying and failing, because that's how you succeed, really. You try ideas, you fail. You try, you fail. You try, you fail. That is what will humble you, right? Just going through those failures and getting wrecked, getting embarrassed, having family members tell you to get a job, stop daydreaming, right? Stop embarrassing us, right? And you do it anyway. When you succeed, you'll realize, like, wow, hey, I made it because I just focus on the work. And that's something you'll notice and then you'll start meeting people like that too, by the way. Other people who are just like you at your stage, or maybe a couple of stages above you, that have been where you are, and they'll be able to help you along and be like, hey, let me give you some marketing ideas. Hey, let me give you some branding ideas. Okay? And it will just exponentially 10x your business. Or your career, if you're in a career or a profession, right? It will 10x your career. And you'll notice, like, okay, I don't have really time to, like, hang out with these dudes anymore that all they want to do is talk and not take action. I need to be with these guys where all they do is take action. That's how winning is done, son. Right? You fail, you get up, you try again. You fail, you get up, you try again. Okay? And this is why, I have an entrepreneurs group in Santa Monica. We have 1,500 members, as you guys know. One thing I tell all the newbie entrepreneurs, right? All the newbie entrepreneurs are funny too, because they always come into our group. We have, most of our meetings now are private. We have masterminds, but every once in a while we'll open it up to newbies who just want to quit their job. They hate their 9 to 5, and they come into the group and they're like, hey, you know what? I got this great idea, guys. I got the $1 million idea. I can't share it with you guys, but I got this great idea. We always ask them, just like Shark Tank, how many sales did you make this past month? Oh, 0. But it's this great idea. It's a great idea. Like, shut up, dude. Just shut up, right? Shut up. You know what I want you to do? I always tell my newbie entrepreneurs, take your 5 best ideas, right? Not just one, create 5 really good ideas off the top of your head that you just are really passionate about. Take those 5 ideas, your 5 best ideas, throw them up against the wall and see what sticks. See which one actually produces revenue. See which ones customers actually want. See which ones are actually viable. Don't fall in love with any of these ideas until they start to prove themselves. And if none of those ideas work out, go back to the drawing board and create another 5 ideas and throw those up on the wall and see which ones will work before you fall in love with anything. Right? Same thing with cold approach. When I take students out, we do cold approach. Oh my God, man, no, I can't deal with this rejection. What if she yells at me? I'm like, then she yells at you. What if she tells me I'm fat, I'm ugly? Then she tells you you're fat and you're ugly. Then what? And I'm like, then we go on to the next girl, right? I'll be right there with you. A lot of times these guys who are that freaked out, I will wing with them. I'm like, we will go together, let's go. Right? And then after a few approaches, they start to say, that's not so bad. Oh yeah, okay, that other girl was mean. Okay, let's go to the next girl. They just see that, hey, it's just a process, man. Don't worry about it. You're not here to let them put you inside your head. You're just here to learn the process that I have to teach you. My 5-step process in 7 months of mastery. Right? Get in my program. I'm like, I just want you to understand and learn the process of how to do a proper cold approach. That's it, right? It's no different than a job almost, except we're picking up girls. This is fun, right? There's a fun reward here, right? You might get to make out with them, might get to grab on them a little bit, you might get to see them again, might go on a date, we might go like bounce them to another location, which we often do. And these guys have the time of their lives. You don't know how many guys who are just completely scared out of their minds coming on boot camp, leave my boot camp after that weekend and just tell me this was the best weekend of my life. This is the absolute most life-changing, best weekend of my life. Like why? Because I did things I never thought I could do. Oh, because you got those negative thoughts out of your mind, huh? Because you finally stopped talking and I got you to shut up and just take action. It's very different when you stop talking and you just start taking action. Imagine if you could just seal your lips from talking and you're forced to just take action. right? That was your only outlet for mental stimulation. Believe me, you'd get 1,000% more done. You would be so much further in life than you are now. I guarantee it. But as always, gentlemen, drop your comments below. Let me know what you think of tonight's coaching video. Anything you'd like to add, anything I might have missed, anything you'd like to share, please drop them in the comments below. Always love to see you guys, my comments. I always love to read them. So please feel free to drop your comments below.